Former President Thabo Mbeki is expected to address the ANC's Eastern Cape Provincial Conference. The province has recently been hit by a crippling taxi driver and service delivery protest. There are also claims of mass corruption in the province. eNCA's Ronald Masinda is sitting down with the ANC's Eastern Cape Chair, Mabuyane, and he joins us now live with him. Ronald, I'm sure very interesting things that the Chair is going to say there in the Eastern Cape, especially with the former president coming up to the Eastern Cape to try and find solutions for the province.
Yes, a very good morning to you, Maseko. We are coming to you live from East London's ICC. This is where the ANC will be discussing a way forward for the party. It is a three-day conference which started yesterday and is expected to end tomorrow. I am, of course, joined by the Premier of the province, Mr. Mabuyane. Mr. Mabuyane, thank you very much indeed for your time. First of all, just talk us through some of the discussions.
Thank you very much, sir. And good morning to you and good morning to your viewers. Well, we have convened this extraordinary, special, extended Provincial Executive Committee meeting to look at the issue of the organizational renewal, the revolutionary morality question. We are trying to go deeper in terms of enhancing our understanding of what exactly do we mean by this organizational renewal, what is its significance at this current political dispensation, and why ANC needs to renew, why membership of the ANC need to understand the question of ethical leadership and its importance on the ANC itself being renewed. So we have invited the former president. He has been doing some work on this topic of organizational renewal. He has met leaders of provinces, and I've met him on several occasions engaging on the same issue. So we thought that it's going to be important that we impact the knowledge he has and his understanding of the ANC. As we all know that he grew up in the ANC, and ANC has gone through all this. And if you look at the issues that we are dealing with, are issues that many leaders raised before. If you look at 1997, Mahigen Conference, President Mandela, on his political report, a couple of issues that we are currently grappling with, we are experiencing now, are issues he warned us about. And unfortunately, leadership never acted for all these years around these issues. We had to understand issues that we were not supposed to be understanding, to the detriment of the ANC. That's why we always believe that the 54th National Conference and the Nazareth Conference was a watershed conference which had to take the bull by its horns, to tackle the issue. And now the leadership is implementing those issues that were raised. And if you look at the diagnostic report, which was presented by the former Secretary General, are almost talking to all these issues. So you talk about issues who have been, the organization that has been diagnosed with its membership, but refusing to actually use a proper medicine for us to be able to be correct. So we are correcting ourselves, we are trying to conscientize ourselves, and we understand the problem. Majority is more on the leadership. If the leadership, the discipline, the revolutionary morality, from the leadership point of view, the conscience as well from the leadership, it's going to be easy to implement this and actually make ANC to be an organization that everyone understands it as a tool for transformation in the hands of our people. So we're discussing those political issues here today, over the next 3 days, yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And we're happy that the president has come in here. Actually has made a very valuable input yesterday, following the political overview which was presented by the provincial chair and the state of the organization by the provincial secretary. So we're discussing, giving people time to engage on those issues, PEC members, alliance, our MDM structures. Tomorrow will be involving civil society, traditional leaders, churches, business. It's going to be a quite interesting debate that we're having.
All right, Mr. Mabuyane, let me come in there. Some have said that there's an issue of factionalism within the organization, the issues involving the likes of Secretary General Esma Khoshule have been well documented. Will this be one of the issues discussed here?
That's one of the cancers that has been diagnosed as the major problem in the ANC. Factions are not new, they've been there. You had these issues, differences on ideological grounds, issues on personality grounds, and factions have always been breeding the personality cult. This is what you see. And the ANC has actually allowed itself for years to be captured by factions. And with this kind of an attitude of survival of the fittest and elimination of the weakest. So we are stopping that because people must all understand, we as members and leaders of the ANC, we are joining the ANC. ANC is not joining us. ANC has got rules, has got laws, has got constitution that must be respected by all, from the president down to the member in the branch of the ANC. So we're looking at those issues because it's about how do we correct the situation more than personalizing problems of the ANC. We've got different characters, we've got different individuals who are doing different things out there, some to the detriment of the ANC. This level of selflessness and sacrifice that we have known the ANC of and members of the ANC. Many people fought for the ANC, had to sacrifice a lot for the ANC, for us not to understand. And the ANC doesn't owe anyone, any member. The ANC owes the South Africans. ANC is what has been actually bequeathed to South Africans by our forebears. So we, as the current leadership of the ANC, we've got to do things right. We've got to correct ourselves. We've got to learn. We're saying the 54th conference of the ANC was a Damascus moment for all of us to change, for all of us to work very hard to renew the ANC, unite the ANC, for the ANC to be able to address the challenges of the national question, the non-racialism, the non-sexism, to ensure that this country is stable with a democratic system for its prosperity. So these are issues that we're dealing with, and we are putting politics into that so that we don't just howl about these issues. We're not emotional about these issues. We're not fractionalizing these issues. We're doing them for the best of the ANC and for the best of South Africa.
Right. There are several RECs that have been dissolved here in the province. Is that also one of the things that will be discussed?
Not really. Some had their terms ending, so automatically in terms of the organizational flow, in terms of procedures and processes, they had to be converted into task teams. It's not a question of really where it dissolved simply because there are issues. So we have got a relative stability in the province, and I think there's been a relative cohesion. We're working very well, but we are also liberating members of the ANC who see themselves being members of other members, so that people can appreciate what ANC is all about and understand and study the ANC. So it's part of the political education that we're doing. No one would claim to know the ANC. ANC is a living organism. It must always adopt into these kind of modern systems of political organization, but it also must adapt to these changing environments as we are actually moving forward. It's more than 100 years now. It has been coming from far. It has experienced a lot. So we're learning about those issues so that they help us understand what are we claiming to be leading and what is it that we're leading in the interest of the South Africa as a country.
All right. You also wear the hat of as the Premier of the province, and what we've seen this week are very ugly scenes, protest action in Gqeberha, where taxi operators and owners were in protest, and also in Makhanda and several other parts of the province. Many people were calling on you, Premier, to address them in Makhanda. What's your response?
Terrible sins indeed, and very unfortunate sins that should not happen, at least during the democratic dispensation. We have been actually grounded on the dialogue. If there are issues, there are differences. It's also said when people are having their own intra-dynamics in their organization, but they take those intra-dynamics into the society and undermine other people's rights. That's why we condemn all these violent public protests that we've seen. You can't ban a tarred road if you want a road. You can't do that. So it's actually an antithesis of what we are trying to actually talk about. It's an antithesis of the development trajectory that we're driving. Yes, there are issues. We are attending to those issues in Makhanda. We've been there with national government trying to help and resolve. There are issues. Yes, there are challenges. We're trying to sort out those challenges. We want community to work with us, but you can't disrupt the economy. Eastern Cape has got about 48% high unemployment rate. So you can't really disrupt the legal thing that you have instead of doing what is right. In Gqeberha, it was very unfortunate. It should have not happened. It can't be. When the taxi operators have got an issue in their industry, they stop and kill the economy of that. Nelson Mandela or the Gqeberha is our economic hub as a province. There are huge investors there. Your Volkswagen. If people do those things, shut down, you are saying those who are working at Volkswagen, that 5,000 contingent of people who are working there must not go to work. When Volkswagen retrenches people a few months down the line, no one will understand. But people are taking reckless decisions simply because they are emotional. So we are appealing to everyone. People must learn to sit down, raise issues. We've got a responsive government. We've got a government that is prepared to talk and try to find solutions to issues. Hence, we are attending to those issues. They have never been raised. If they would have been raised earlier, we would have definitely found a solution to those kind of issues. Some of them, we don't know them. We are all shocked. We wake up, it's fire everywhere. We can't have a country that is engulfed in fire. We are not in a space that should be working like that. People must understand that we are for development and we want to talk. We must hold people accountable, hold people responsible, but not distract and not do all what we have seen in the past. Yes, we are trying our level best. The province has got huge developmental challenges. We are coming from a very low base, huge social infrastructure backlog. Those issues are issues that are actually at our radar screen. We are attending to them. We are working national now in the context of this new DDM model, the district development model that we are having, pulling every sphere of government to work together and attend to those issues and improve our turnaround time as well.
In as much as one has to condemn the actions that we saw throughout the week, but a lot of people are of the view that ANC-led municipalities have failed in terms of service delivery and offering people the basic right to issues such as water and sanitation. We are heading into a local government election year. Why should people still vote for the ANC?
Well, sometimes when people are subjective, they would always lead to that. Sometimes you need to be scientific so that you get an understanding of what you're talking about. ANC government has changed the lives of our people in this country since 1994. I'm from the rural areas. I know what has been happening in rural areas. What are the challenges? There might still be those challenges that people are still continuously experiencing, your water shortages, etc., etc. But the lives of our people have changed. They've improved. You look at the life expectancy from a health point of view in our province, it has also improved. So generally, there's been a lot of attempt that government has been doing, but we are not going to resolve issues, the structural challenges that we have that have been actually done for more than 200 years, over 20 years. But we are clear, we've got a plan, we've got a program that is responding to the challenges that we're attending to. We are improving our own inefficiencies in the ANC, what kind of people that we are sending to government to lead, capabilities, and all those issues, so that we have issues that we must be able to deal with in a manner that help our people to appreciate what ANC is all about. ANC is the only organization that has got clear policies in this country on where do we want to take this country to, where are we coming from, where are we. There's no alternative. All other people are shouting at the ANC, are raising all sorts of issues. People will continue voting for the ANC because they appreciate the legal things that they have seen in the last 20 years in their lives, because they know where they are coming from.
Before I let you go, Mr. Mabuyane, we also do understand that there is a legal matter that you're also pursuing, and that involves your deregistration from Forte. Talk us through what is the process now going forward.
We are attending to that matter with Forte, and my legal team is handling the matter. At the right time, we'll be able to respond. What we have said, there's nothing wrong that I, for one, I've done at Forte. I followed the process as I was advised by Forte, and I submitted everything that I had to submit. So if there would have been other issues from Forte, I would have understood. Forte has never called me as a student. I learned about these issues from the media. I learned later when all these issues have been in the public domain. That's not how you treat your students. It should have been completely different from that approach, but I understand other dynamics that are playing out into this space. So that's an issue. So I've got options. There are many universities that are doing the same issues of RPL in South Africa. I wanted to capacitate myself more. I wanted to have more understanding of developmental issues. So I'm not bound to remain at Forte. But the issue was about Forte doing what it has done to me in a manner that suggests that there's something wrong that I've done, of which there was absolutely nothing wrong that I've done.
Very, very lastly, Premier, in terms of the set-aside resolution that the ANC has now imposed, can we expect certain people to be named? We do know that your former MEC of Health is also in court.
Well, that's a process. The step-aside is part of us looking at the issue of the renewal. It's not a renewal itself. It's about us understanding, it's about us appreciating that we are in the ANC, voluntarily, not really to pursue our own personal interests. So we're not here to discuss step aside, we're here to discuss renewal. Part of issues that are arising out of that is how we protect this renewal process through ethical leadership. So I might not necessarily discuss specific issues. We're not discussing any specific issues. We're discussing principle inside here because we want ANC so that every member, whether affected or not, can understand issues beyond his or her personal capability.
All right. Thank you very much indeed for your time, so we really appreciate it. That was Oscar Mabuyane discussing some of the key topics of discussion. He spoke about unity and renewal. We do know that former President Thabo Mbeki will also be addressing the delegation here. We also saw quite a number of dignitaries, ministers such as Stella Ndabeni Abrams, as well as Zizi Kodwa.